Hi folks, this is Mr. Messerman with fourth quarter flipped classroom vodcast on the music of waters. Learning target number 1 is I can label and define the parts of the water cycle. The water cycle involves water in the form of liquid on the surface and under the surface of the earth, and water in the form of gas that's in the atmosphere. So as the wind blows over this pond, some of the water turns to gas. It evaporates and enters the atmosphere. Eventually, some of that water vapor in the atmosphere will condense and form clouds, like the thin clouds you see in this scene. Clouds are made of water liquid or ice crystals. Now the processes of evaporation and condensation are going on all the time around the world. And as you might guess, most of it happens over the oceans, since the oceans are the biggest bodies of water on the planet. Now one more process that takes place at a really high rate in the rainforest is evapotranspiration, in which water evaporates from leaves and gets pulled up through the roots and stems of trees and ends up in the atmosphere. This evaporation and condensation carries energy into and out of the atmosphere all the time, and it's entirely driven by the sun. Now the other end of the water cycle begins with precipitation in the form of snow or rain. When that precipitation reaches the ground, it eventually will run off, and we call that runoff. Rivers and streams bring that water back down to ponds or to the ocean, and the cycle continues. And lastly, some of that water that runs over the surface can actually percolate down into the ground, and we can use several terms for that, like percolation or infiltration, and that ends up as groundwater. Groundwater can then actually move back to the surface in the form of springs, such as this little stream from a spring you see here. Alright, let's run through those terms. First we have evaporation. Water turns from liquid to gas, taking heat energy with it. Condensation. Water turns from gas to liquid, releasing heat energy in the process. And evapotranspiration. Water evaporates from plant leaves, pulling water into roots and up through the stems and out into the atmosphere. And finally, precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, and hail all probably start with growth of microscopic ice crystals in the clouds. Runoff, overland sheet flow, and stream flow. And percolation, water moves down through pores in rock and can reemerge as springs or into rivers. Now don't forget to pause and go back and play this over as many times as you like until you get it, and have fun working on the stream tables.